you. So Ali Gambini, this is a woman of extraordinary talent, both from Italy, from Milan, to right now Santa Monica. Mary, do you want to do a little introduction before we go on?
Absolutely. So today we have the pleasure of interviewing Ali Gambini, an LA-based chef born and raised in Northern Italy, who has her own cookbook, YouTube channel, and blog. So welcome, Ali.
Ciao a tutti. Hi.
Right. So Ali, I mean, you gave us so much great information as we were kibitzing before, we went online today. And one of the things that struck me is, in addition to your TV professional career as a musician in Italy, is that when you came to the United States, you and your husband, that you started to get into these Italian cooking classes. Do I understand that on some of your platforms, you actually, I know a lot of people covet what you have as far as your recipes are concerned, but you actually show people how to cook on some of those platforms. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yes, exactly. One of the things I do is to teach how to cook like an Italian. And I do in person. Actually, I used to do in person before COVID-19, unfortunately, but I still do on Zoom. And I also have a channel, a YouTube channel, and a Vimeo channel where I teach how to cook like an Italian. And mostly I share authentic Italian recipes, the one I've learned from my grandmother, and like they belongs to my family. Yes.
So you were indicating that one of your goals is to educate on the authenticity of Italian cooking, and if I have this quote right, try to help with regard to the misunderstandings that Americans or Americans may have with respect to Italian cooking. What are some of those misunderstandings in your mind that are most prevalent?
It's a very long talk. It would take like 3 episodes. No, but to make it short, Italian food, the one really made in Italy, the real authentic made in Italy, is a symbol of quality. And I try to educate, especially during my cooking classes, to buy the authentic Italian products, the one they are made, craft, selected in Italy, because this means quality. This is good for your health. The misunderstanding is mostly about a very unpleasant phenomenon called Italian sounding, where a lot of products you can find in the grocery stores, they have like an Italian flag or an Italian name, but they are not Italian, and that is a big loss for the Italian economy. So I'm an Italian food ambassador on behalf of I Love Italian Food, which is a non-profit organization in Italy, and we collaborate. We try to educate as much as possible, like what's the real Parmigiano Reggiano, how to spot the authentic products versus the fake one. That's what we do the most. We want, yes, to educate and to also preserve our amazing Italian cuisine. Everybody loves Italian food and Italian cuisine, so that's what we do.
And I thought I heard you say in the pre-interview that one of the goals of your education piece is to keep it simple, good, tasty, and healthy. But I thought I heard you say something about a rating system. Is there some sort of rating system that the Italians have with regard to the quality of food, similar to like a rating system of wines?
Yes, we have actually the whole European Union has the status of PDO and PGI, which means a high standard quality of our products. Like the most famous PDO products is like Parmigiano Reggiano or Prosciutto di Parma. We have many of them. I think with the status issued by the European Union, we have more than 300 products. And this is exactly what I'm gonna talk about, what I'm talking in my new book that is gonna be available soon. It's not out yet, but I'm gonna talk about this, how to recognize the authentic versus the forged one, which is a big problem. And I also made a web series in collaboration with the I Love Italian Food and the European Union about the outstanding fruits and veggies we have in Italy. They are not very known here in the US. The project is called Fresh Up Your Life, and you can find on, if you Google on the internet, you're gonna find all the information to make people aware that our fruits, our veggies are amazing. And some of them, they had the PDO and PGI status as well.
This PDO and PGI status, is that something that exists in the United States? Or is that more of a European thing?
I think it's issued by the European Union, so I'm not sure here if you have something similar. But as you said, it's like for the wine, the DOC, for like the greatest wines. Yes, we have in Europe. I'm not sure in the US if you have something similar, but still is like when you buy PDO, PGI, DOCs, you have to be sure that what you are eating, what you are buying is something of very high standards.
Now, before I toss to Mary, I just want to make sure I get this straight, because I do a lot of cooking and I make a lot of sauces. So if I go to the grocery store, not all, for example, canned crushed tomatoes or plum tomatoes are equal. What you're saying is that there are some that have a greater, more robust flavor, if you will, I think, that will make a better dish. Is there a place where we can go to find that out here in America?
I can speak for LA since I'm in Santa Monica, so in LA. We have very nice daily stores, and maybe the big cities, they has this kind of stores. I'm not sure about maybe little towns all over US, but like Italy, a big store, the big chain that you have all over the US, they sell very good products, very high quality products. But I think like the maybe family owned Italian little shop daily, they still have, they have good products as well. But also like sometimes I find very good products in other chains, and even they are not from Italy. I try to say, if like you are here in LA, you don't have tomatoes from Italy, so try to buy local as much as possible. So try to support the slow food movement. You have the slow food movement right. Also here in US. So like the locals, the farmers market, try to eat as fresh as possible. No processed food, please.
I know we have a couple of questions, but I have a speed round of just 2 questions. Sure. The gravy, is it gravy or sauce? The red stuff that goes on pasta.
Yes.
Do you want to go there? Do you want to go there? Do you want to answer that, or would you rather remain silent? It's up to you.
No, that's fine. That's fine. This is what I talk about in my upcoming book. So there is no gravy in Italy, so we call it sugo. Sauce is the red sauce. We call it sugo. It's no gravy.
But you're not offended if someone uses the term gravy.
Absolutely no. I think we have like 2 different type of cuisine. The Italian that comes from Italy, the people that lives in Italy, like myself, I was born and raised, I stayed there for 35 years. So everything I've learned is from my mother, my grandmother, my father, even he was a very great cook. And then the Italian-American cuisine, which is slightly different, but like it's not good and bad, it's different. So that's
my last speed round question is that Italian Americans at least take a lot of pride in their meatballs.
Yes.
Especially their mother's meatballs. There's yet to be an Italian boy that I know that says his mother doesn't make the best, quote unquote, meatballs. So do you believe it's a wise thing, because it's an Order Sons and Daughters of Italy in America, a lot of fundraisers and cooking events, whatever. I'm asking you on a scale of 1 to 10, how hazardous is it for a person like me to be a judge of a meatball contest when all those other mothers, somebody comes out number 1 and somebody doesn't? It could be pretty dangerous, no?
That's a difficult question. Like even the meatballs is kind of like is a tricky for us Italian, because like as Italian, meatballs are mostly a a main dish. So we don't put meatballs on top of the pasta. We only have like one region that does something similar, is Apulia region. They have like a baked pasta with the tiny balls. This is one of the few dish we have in Italy, made by Italians, but like Italian American meatballs are good as well. And if they are made with best quality ingredients, enjoy.
The last meatball contest I judged, I asked, what was your secret recipe? And the woman was very smart to say, my secret ingredient is love. And
perfect. That's the best answer. I would say love and passion. Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to let Mary's going to second part host this show, but first we have a couple of questions. So let's get to them, Justin.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mark D'Annunzio wrote it, and you were touching on the differences between Italian cuisine and Italian American cuisine. He was curious about the differences within Italy, north, south, region to region. If you could, kind of expand on that. Yes. and touch on the regionalized or even the difference in cuisine within Italy.
Absolutely, yes. We have like a totally different dishes from all over Italy. We have 20 regions, and each region has its own specialties. So I would say Northern Italian cuisine has its own, like we use a lot of butter, for instance, because the weather is also is colder. So the center is totally different. The south is more Mediterranean, so a lot of olive oils. So it depends from the ingredients you have. Your freshest ingredients, they decide, they made your dish like a northern dish, a center dish, a southern dish. Then we have like a dish that are good all over Italy. But yes, we have many differences from north to south. And yes, absolutely. We are so, we have so many recipes, like one book is not enough, even like 2,000 pages is not enough.
Well, he was also wondering the use of tomatoes. Do we see tomatoes used more in the south, more in the north, central?
Oh, well, tomato is used pretty much everywhere. We have like the main pasta sauce are made of tomatoes. So maybe the southern tomatoes are more juicier because of the weather. It's all about the weather. So there are like the lemons from Sorrento, they are the best. The lemon from Sicily, they are the best. So depends on the weather. Is a big is so important for food. So that's very important, and every single region has its own specialty. So tomatoes are everywhere, but the southern tomatoes, I would say, they taste like heaven.
All right, Mary. Well, I think that's all we have for the questions right now. If you wanna take over.
Sure. So, Allie, you have one cookbook out, and then you're in the process of writing another. What's been your inspiration?
Oh, my inspiration was my grandmother. I owe to her everything I know about food. I grew up behind her in the kitchen and seeing her, seeing all her recipe, her secrets, which are not secrets actually. And when I moved to the US, I asked her to send me the recipe, all the recipe, because I felt like, oh my goodness, I'm in a new everything. I feel alone. I miss my family. So she written down all the recipes, and like during the years, I kind of translate, and then I put together, and my first cookbook was born because of her, and it's called A Queen in the Kitchen. And my nonna went to heaven last year, but yeah, her everything she made for me, she taught me, is still here, and I'm gonna share with everybody. I think sharing is very important. Some people, they say, oh, I have a secret ingredient. Oh, I don't. No, I'm sharing everything. And then you adjust to your taste. But like sharing is caring, really.
Well, I've been on your YouTube channel, and it's absolutely fantastic. Your recipes are very easy to make, and they burst with flavor. Do you have some kind of methodology in which you cook with them?
Oh, no, actually, when I cook, I know the recipe by heart, but I also sometimes trying to give a nice twist. And especially since I moved to LA and I I was like exposed to other kitchens, so other cuisines, I try sometimes to incorporate a twist. Since I moved to the US, I became a big fan of avocado. I even tried it in Italy before. So here I love avocados, and I try to put maybe in some dishes, kind of, make a melting pot, but following first the main recipe. So you have to master the recipe first, and then you can adjust to your taste. For baking, you really, really, really need to follow the recipes, because it's like chemistry. So if you messed up with the quantity of flour, of yeast, of baking powder, it's not working.
If you could share one cooking tip, what would it be, and how would it improve our recipes?
Oh my goodness. More than a cooking tip, I want to share something my nonna told me that's very important: to have a little piece of Parmigiano Reggiano before or after the meal, because it helps to digest. So she always gave us at the beginning or at the end of the meal a tiny piece of Parmigiano Reggiano. So that's something I remember, and I will remember forever. And I'm doing with my daughter. Mangia, 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 mangia. Yes, we are Italians. Food is so important.
Do you have one thing in particular that is your go-to dish, or that you absolutely love to make?
I love everything. I'm mostly a dessert person. So yes, tiramisu would be my and I do like different type of tiramisu. I also do like lemon tiramisu. I do green tea tiramisu. So I try to experiment, but starting from the traditional coffee tiramisu recipe. And I also love to make bread at home. Yes, I'm a bread making person also.
What made you decide to move to the US?
Mostly is my husband, because we both were musicians in Italy, but at one point he was called by the UCLA University to teach their audio technology. So we always been attracted by United States, especially when you are in the entertainment business. This is the place to be. LA is the place to be. So we decide accordingly to come here, and since we are here for good.
In one of your videos, I saw a young Angelica featured.
Yes, Angelica is our daughter. She's 10 years old. She was born here. And I try to raise her both Italian and American, because I think she needs both. She's mostly American, but I want her to speak Italian. I force her to speak Italian and also to eat Italian. So I want her to appreciate her roots, and I cook with her. But like 2 weeks ago, we made churros. So we kind of explore all kind of cuisine, not only Italian.
That's fantastic. Justin, do we have any more questions?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're talking about living in the US and cooking Italian food. We had Justin Ronca write in, what is the hardest product for you to find, or what is the product that you miss the most from Italy while living in Santa Monica?
I have to say, we are very lucky, especially in Santa Monica. We have a couple of daily stores and importers that really, they pretty much brings everything. But as I told you before going live, the brewer yeast, the one we use in Italy, is very difficult to find here. The little cubes of brewer yeast, I can't find it here. I have my mom to send me from Italy. So.
Do you ever see products in the supermarket and you think, wow, that costs €2 in Italy. I'm not paying $20 for that here.
That's an issue. Yes, you are totally right. Sometimes like breaks my heart, because I say, I know how much it costs in Italy. I know they have to import it, so the costs are very high, but like you cannot spend, like, as you say, like maybe $20 for something that usually costs €2. So yeah, sometimes you have to say, okay, let's move on, let's go.
find an alternative, right?
Exactly. Yes, that's true.
Bob, well, back to you. I think that's it for the questions at the moment.
Well, I'm going to throw this to Mary because I believe, if I saw something correctly on social media, that she took a foray and went into your site and actually prepared something that she found to be delicious. Mary, tell us, where'd you find it and what was it and how did it taste?
So my cousins and I decided to try your watermelon caprese, which was absolutely fantastic. It was so flavorful. I thought I would like it. It was gone in probably 30 seconds. I devoured it. It was phenomenal. What I liked was that it was easy to make. The ingredients were basic ingredients you would have around the house anyway.
Yes.
And it was, you know, quick to do. And there's basically no cook time. It was just quick and dirty, and it came out absolutely fantastic.
Exactly. Yes. What I think authentic Italian food is all about that. So very simple recipes, best quality ingredients, a lot of passion, love. That's it.
You know, Ali, my mother, when she, just before she got sick, there was an experience that I always remember that and cherish was, like I told you, when I was a kid, she taught me how to cook. And we were making gravy, we call it, okay, sugo.
That's fine.
Okay, for Christmas dinner. And my sister and her and myself started getting into a debate about mom's recipe. And sister tended to want to be more sophisticated, if you will, and mine was much more basic with basic seasoning. And my mother was sitting there watching and listening to all this. And so, of course, two arguing children go to mom and say, well, Mom, who's right? You told me to make it this way. Janine says you were saying to make it the other way. And she made a statement to me that I think is so endemic about Italian Americans and their relationship to food. She goes, you know, when I first started, I was nervous. And I really didn't know how to cook. And I was trying to learn from your father's mother. And I saw it was very simple. It was very basic. When I started to learn how to cook, though, I started to add ingredients and meat and salt and various different spices and whatever. But later in life, I went back to simple because I've always found, as a matter of life, simple is always better. I
Agreed 100%.
and that's, I think that I heard that from you. So for our audience that's out there that may be loving to want to learn how to cook Italian food, it sounds to me that the recipes that you provide are not just simple, but they're simple and tasty and healthy at the same time. So a beginner can start with you, right?
Absolutely, yes. Most of the classes I do are like for beginners, for everyday cookers, so for home cooks, because we all need to cook at one point. When I moved to the US, I've noticed like a lot of, especially women, they don't cook a lot. So I was kind of, wow, we should do something for, especially when you have kids, you definitely need to cook at home, on my point of view, as much as possible. And like sourcing the best ingredients, doing at home as much as possible. It's okay like to go outside, to have like here and there some junk food, but mostly you have to eat very good food, especially your kids, they need to grow with the best food. Food is a medicine to me. So when you have very good food, you're gonna be healthy and happy in your life. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna say for parents or anybody for that matter that wants to make something, like I find it tedious to cook every single day. I tend to cook more in bulk, whether it's a big pot of lentils or something of that nature. What's a good, healthy dish that you think is both tasty, nutritional, and that a mom or dad can make and serve the whole family for a period of time?
I would say a bowl of pasta is always a nice idea. It's controversial. Some people say, oh, a pasta, a lot of carbs, you get fat. First of all, kids, they need carbs because they use a lot of energies. Like my daughter, for instance, she's a swimmer. She swims, she used to swim, not now, but 5 times a week. So she definitely needs a lot of loads of carbs. So, and if you buy a nice quality pasta brand and you make a very simple sauce, even like tomato, basil, or extra virgin olive oil, that's it. The whole family is, and also the proportion, you don't have to feed with like I don't know, a big bowls of pasta, just a nice right amount of quantity. And that's a trick. That's what I do for the pasta. I give like 1 handful of and actually 2 handfuls of dry pasta each to measure the pasta we need to have during the lunch or the dinner. And there is a big difference also between some type of pasta. They are I don't know why they're filled with ingredients we don't need it, like the regular the pasta we have in Italy, made in Italy, is just 2 ingredients: semolina flour and water. That's it. So read the label. This is another suggestion I can tell you. Like, read the label. When you see too many ingredients, no, this is, don't buy it. We don't need it. This addition, like too many ingredients. We don't need it.
Maybe I could put you on the spot, and we didn't talk about this. Don't worry, it won't be too bad. And I think we have some more questions, but we would love to see you make a special dish for the Order Sons and Daughters of Italy and America, and it will become our mascot dish. If we could get into your kitchen and watch you actually do it.
I would love to. I would love to. Absolutely.
Excellent. All right, good. I
would love to. I can make like a signature dish for you all.
All right, awesome. Justin, I think we got some more questions.
Yeah, so Generosa Portano wrote in, and she's just wondering where she can find your current cookbook and when she can expect to see your new cookbook when once it comes out.
Sure. The current cookbooks, which I have here, is this one, is available on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles and maybe other bookstores, but like I think Amazon is the quickest way to get the book. And the new book, I can tell you exactly when it's going to be out, but like kind of soon. So I'll let you know for sure.
Yeah, that book was a little hard to read with the light. I believe it's called A Queen of the Kitchen.
A Queen in the Kitchen.
In the Kitchen.
Yes, which is actually the queen. All the people think you are the queen in the, no, the queen in the kitchen was my grandmother. And I gave this name because she really looked like the Queen Elizabeth of England. She resembled the queen, so that's why we call her queen. So I'm not the queen.
That's lovely. Anything else, Justin?
That's it from the questions.
All right. Well, do you have any questions for us? I always like to ask that because, our organization is out there. And if you know what we do, we raise millions of dollars for charities and scholarships, and also have an anti-defamation arm for Italians, which is becoming more and more prevalent. And we have a huge group across the nation, and we love supporting Italian causes, the veterans, Alzheimer's, Cooley's anemia, and all sorts of other charities. Do you have any questions for us?
No, I'm just like amazed by everything you have done. I got to know your organization from our common friend Clarissa Bart, and I will thank her forever because what you are doing is amazing. Please continue to support the Italian heritage in the US and even overseas, because what they are doing is, thank you. Amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. So I don't know if it's Mary or Justin, how can people get in touch with our organization, and also so that they can find this video and get to Allie's video and hopefully buy her book and watch her cook, and of course in anticipation, guys, of her signature mascot dish for the order.
Yes, I promise. Italians, they move a lot, the hands, we do a lot of signs.
How do they find us, guys?
First, we want to thank everyone for joining us today. If you'd like to follow us, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. And if you'd like to become a member, which we'd love it if you did, you can join at OSIA.org. That's OSIA.org.
Okay, awesome. Allie, thank you so much. It was a pleasure interviewing you. You have a powerful spirit, and Mary and Justin, always thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.